In the rolling hills of ancient Israel, a young shepherd named David watched over his father's flock. David was the youngest son of Jesse, overlooked and underestimated by his family. His heart was courageous, and his faith in God unwavering. One day, the Philistine army gathered for war against Israel. From their camp, a giant named Goliath, clad in heavy armor and brimming with confidence, issued a challenge. Each day for 40 days, he taunted the Israelites, daring any man to fight him in single combat. Fear paralyzed the Israelite soldiers, for Goliath stood over 9 feet tall and was a seasoned warrior. David arrived at the battlefield to bring provisions to his older brothers who were in the Israelite army. He heard Goliath's taunts and saw the fear in the eyes of his countrymen. Moved by their plight and by the defiance against the armies of the living God, David volunteered to fight Goliath. King Saul, doubtful but desperate, offered David his armor. David declined, choosing instead the tools of his trade, a simple sling, 5 smooth stones from a nearby brook. With his sling in hand, David approached Goliath. The giant sneered at the sight of this ruddy youth, armed only with a shepherd's staff and sling. But David stood firm, declaring that he came in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel. As Goliath moved to attack, David ran towards him, quickly loading his sling, hurling a stone. The stone struck Goliath squarely on the forehead, and the giant fell face down to the ground. With Goliath's own sword, David cut off his head, securing a stunning victory for Israel. The Philistines fled in terror, and David's bravery and faith became the talk of the land. Thus, the young shepherd boy, who trusted in God, triumphed over a mighty warrior, marking the beginning of David's rise to greatness and eventual kingship over Israel. King David's life was marked by extraordinary highs and profound lows as he rose from a humble shepherd to become Israel's greatest king. Despite his flaws and personal failures, David's deep faith and repentance made him a man after God's own heart. His legacy as a warrior, poet, and leader shaped the history of Israel and foreshadowed the coming of the Messiah, who would be called the Son of David.